Most men today are fragile. One rejection and they spiral. One setback and they quit. One insult and they crumble. But here's the truth, it's not because life is unfair. It's because they never trained themselves to carry the weight of pressure. So let's expose the reality. Why do weak men collapse when life tests them? Picture this. A man faces his first real challenge. He gets fired, his girlfriend leaves, or his business fails. At that moment, two paths appear. One leads to growth. The other leads to collapse. Sadly, most men take the second path. Why? Because they've spent their whole lives avoiding resistance. They've trained themselves to seek comfort, not strength. They live in a bubble of instant gratification. Fast food, fast entertainment, fast dopamine. But when pressure comes, that bubble bursts. Weak men crumble because they've built zero tolerance for pain. They avoid discomfort like a plague. They treat stress as a disease instead of a teacher. Think of pressure like lifting weights. If you never step inside the gym, the barbell will crush you. Not because it's impossible, but because you're untrained. Life works the same way. Stress, loss, and failure are weights. Weak men collapse because they never lifted the smaller ones first. Look around today. The average man faces a tough moment, and what does he do? He escapes. Heartbreak? He numbs himself with alcohol. Stress? He escapes into video games. Failure? He blames the world instead of himself. But here's the harsh truth. Life doesn't care. Life doesn't stop throwing weight at you just because you're weak. Pressure is inevitable. The only choice you have is whether you'll endure it or be crushed by it. And history shows this truth clearly. Roman soldiers used to train with swords twice as heavy as the ones they fought with in battle. Why? Because they knew war wouldn't wait for them to be ready. If they could endure the pain of training, the battlefield would feel lighter. Modern men do the opposite. They run from pain. They never prepare. And when the real fight comes, the rejection, the failure, the betrayal, they crumble instantly. Here's the paradox. Avoiding pressure makes you weaker. Every time you escape, you lose resilience. Every time you quit, you reinforce fragility, until one day life hits you and you shatter completely. But strong men, they don't fear pressure. They respect it. They train for it. They understand that pressure doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. So the real question is, how do you stop being fragile? How do you turn yourself into someone who doesn't just survive pressure, but thrives under it? That's where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism comes in. The Stoics lived in a world far harsher than ours. Plagues, wars, betrayal, and death were constant. Yet instead of collapsing under the weight of life, they developed a philosophy that made them unshakable. That philosophy still holds the power to turn weak men into strong ones today. At its core, Stoicism teaches one lesson. You can't control what happens, but you can always control how you respond. Think about that. You can't control the economy. You can't control betrayal. You can't control death, failure, or loss. But you can control your reaction. And that single truth is what separates weak men from strong ones. Weak men crumble because they fight reality. They complain that life is unfair, that the world owes them something, that things shouldn't be this way. But the Stoics understood that reality doesn't bend to your wishes. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, faced betrayal, war, and the death of children. Yet he wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Imagine you lose your job. A weak man sees it as the end. He spirals into despair. A Stoic sees it as training, a chance to adapt, grow, and sharpen his resilience. Here's the paradox. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You suffer when you resist reality. You grow when you accept it. Epictetus, once a slave, said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This wasn't just philosophy, it was survival. A man who had nothing, no freedom, no power, turned his chains into wisdom. He refused to let life break him. So how do we apply Stoicism today? By practicing what the Stoics called voluntary discomfort. They deliberately exposed themselves to small hardships so that real ones wouldn't destroy them. Seneca would sleep on the floor for days, eat plain food, and remind himself, "Is this what I feared?" By facing discomfort on purpose, he built a mind that couldn't be shaken by luxury or loss. Contrast that with modern men. One Wi-Fi outage and they lose their minds. One rejection and they call themselves worthless. One failure and they stop trying. But here's the truth. Life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to face resistance instead of running from it. That's the essence of Stoic strength, to build an inner fortress that nothing can penetrate. To see pain as a teacher, not an enemy. To take every challenge as a chance to practice resilience. The Stoics understood something that weak men today ignore. The world doesn't break you, it reveals you. And if you prepare yourself daily, no pressure will ever be too much. But how exactly did the Stoics prepare themselves every day? How did they train their minds for unbreakable strength? The answer lies in the morning discipline of Marcus Aurelius. Imagine waking up as the most powerful man in the world. You're the emperor of Rome. Armies await your command. Advisors bring you endless problems. Every word you speak could change the fate of millions. That was Marcus Aurelius's reality. And yet, even with all this power, Marcus started each morning not with luxury, but with discipline. His journal, later known as Meditations, was his weapon against weakness. Before facing the chaos of the empire, he faced himself. One of his morning reminders was brutally direct. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Why am I complaining that I am going to do what I was made for? Think about that. Even the Emperor of Rome didn't want to get out of bed some mornings. Even he felt the pull of comfort. But instead of giving in, he used his mornings to sharpen his willpower. Here's the secret. Marcus didn't wait for motivation. He trained himself to act regardless of how he felt. That's what weak men don't understand. They wait until they feel ready. But the truth is, if you wait to feel ready, you'll never start. Marcus began his mornings by reminding himself of three things. Life is short. Death is always near. So wasting time is the greatest sin. People will test you. He expected insult, betrayal, and stupidity. That way, he wasn't shocked when it happened. Duty is everything. He was born to serve, to endure, to act, not to complain. This morning discipline is what kept him unshakable. While other emperors drowned in pleasure, ego, and corruption, Marcus built resilience. He reminded himself daily that he was not above hardship, but forged by it. Now imagine applying this in your own life. Instead of grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, you grab your thoughts. You write, like Marcus, reminding yourself that the day will bring challenges. Instead of being surprised by difficulty, you prepare for it. Instead of complaining about discomfort, you welcome it. This practice is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming unbreakable. By rehearsing hardship in your mind each morning, you disarm it. When the challenge arrives, you don't crumble. You nod because you were expecting it. Modern men hit snooze. Marcus Aurelius hit reality. Modern men avoid discomfort. Marcus trained for it every sunrise, and here's the truth. Discipline in the morning becomes armor for the day. If you can win the first battle, getting up, preparing your mind, you'll have the strength to win the bigger battles that follow. But discipline is more than thought. To truly become unbreakable, you must act. You must build habits so strong that even chaos cannot break them. So how do you build those unshakable habits? How do you turn discipline into your default state? Let's break it down. Every man has two lives. The life of excuses and the life of discipline. Weak men live the first, strong men the second. The bridge between them is built on habits. Here's the truth. Motivation fades, but habits stay. If you rely on motivation, you'll always crumble when pressure comes. But if you build unbreakable habits, they'll carry you through even when your willpower runs dry. So, how do you build habits that last? Step 1. Start small. Go deep. Most men fail because they try to overhaul their lives overnight. They want to wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, read for an hour, meditate, and build a business all at once. Within a week, they burn out. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Progress through small, consistent actions. Marcus Aurelius didn't write a 300-page philosophy book in one day. He wrote small notes daily, until his journal became timeless wisdom. Build habits the same way. Start small, but never stop. Step 2. Embrace discomfort. Daily Seneca slept on the floor. Epictetus embraced poverty. Roman soldiers trained with weights heavier than they needed. Why? Because discomfort sharpens resilience. You don't grow by doing what's easy. You grow by choosing what's hard. Want unbreakable habits? Make discomfort a daily ritual. Cold showers, fasting, hard training, doing the task you dread first. Every time you step into discomfort, you train your mind not to flinch under pressure. Step 3. Remove choice. Weak men negotiate with themselves. Should I go to the gym today? Should I wake up early tomorrow? That negotiation is why they lose. Strong men remove choice. Going to the gym isn't a decision, it's automatic. Waking up early isn't optional, it's the default. Habits become unbreakable when you eliminate the space for debate. Tie them to identity. Don't say, I'm trying to be disciplined. Say, I am a disciplined man. Step 4. Build systems, not goals. Goals are fragile. Systems are unbreakable. A goal says, I'll lose 20 pounds. A system says, I train 4 days a week no matter what. Which one survives under pressure? The system. James Clear said it best in Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The Stoics lived this truth long before it was written. Step 5. Stack. Wins. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you stack a brick. Over time, those bricks become walls. A fortress. Every kept habit is proof. You are stronger than your excuses. That fortress is what protects you when pressure strikes. Because when life hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your training. Weak men collapse because they never trained. Strong men endure because their habits carry them. So ask yourself, what daily system are you building? A system of avoidance or a system of strength? Because the habits you build today decide the man you become tomorrow. But here's the final step, the path that ties it all together. The mindset that turns discipline, habits, and philosophy into an unshakable life. It's the path to becoming untouchable. What does it mean to be untouchable? It doesn't mean you never feel pain. It doesn't mean you never fail. It means you become the kind of man who bends but never breaks. The storm hits, but you're still standing when it passes. Untouchable men are rare. Most crumble, most quit. Most let life decide who they are. But the untouchable man creates himself. He forges his mind like steel and fire. Here's how you walk the path. Step 1. Redefine pressure. Weak men see pressure as a threat. Strong men see it as a forge. When life tests you, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this training me for? Every failure becomes feedback. Every rejection becomes armor. Every hardship becomes fuel. Pressure isn't the enemy. It's the gym of the soul. The more you train in it, the stronger you become. Step 2. Detach from outcomes. The Stoics taught us, you can control effort, never result. The weak man ties his identity to success and collapses when he fails. The strong man ties his identity to effort and no one can take that from him. Did you try and fail? You've still won because you grew. Did someone betray you? You've still won because you learned who they really are. Did you fall? You've still won because you stood back up. When you detach from outcomes, you become untouchable. Nothing outside of you can define you. Step 3. Master yourself. Control over others is fragile. Control over yourself is eternal. Weak men chase power, money, and status to fill the emptiness inside. Strong men realize if you can't control your mind, you own nothing. Master your thoughts. Master your reactions. Master your desires. A man who controls himself cannot be controlled by anyone else. Step 4. Live by principles, not feelings. Feelings are unreliable. Some days you'll feel lazy. Some days you'll feel afraid. Some days you'll feel worthless. Weak men obey those feelings. Untouchable men obey principles. Principles don't change. Discipline, duty, honor, growth. You live by these no matter how you feel. That's how you become solid, like a rock in the storm. Step 5. Serve something greater. The Stoics weren't just focused on themselves. They believed in serving others and contributing to the world, because when you live only for yourself, your strength has limits. But when you live for something greater, your family, your mission, your legacy, you become unstoppable. The path to becoming untouchable isn't glamorous. It's built in silence. In the mornings you rise when no one watches. In the habits you repeat daily. In the moments you endure hardship without complaint. And one day, you'll look back and realize, the things that used to break you no longer even shake you. That is what it means to be unbreakable. That is what it means to be untouchable.